Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. So day 10 is going to take us to the 30th of November, last day of the month. And we'll be able to extend beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles over around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS and ECM at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which gets us well into December, of course. So I shall get on that for you very shortly. Just to say that the first video release was our 7 AM upload. We've also released the weekend forecast. If that wasn't enough, the ECM WF 42-day forecast has been released as well. So check out all of today's videos. And thank you so much for doing that. I'll tell you what's coming up tomorrow on the channel at the end of this video. Right, so let's start with central temperature. The CET is currently standing at 9.4, which is over 2 degrees above average, 2.2 above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 19th of November. Exceptionally mild November so far, but it's pretty much downhill all the way from here now through to month end. We've had an update from Simon, aka Global Warming, on the Weather Outlook Forum, projecting that the central England temperature will finish up at 7.4. So we're going to lose about 2 degrees of the CT in the next 10 days. So really quite a significant drop in temperature on the way. Of course, that might include a downwards correction as well, but that's an essential projection anyway at the moment, 7.4. That's still around a degree above the 61 to 1990 average, very close though to the 81 to 2010 and 91 to 2020 average. This is the CT page at UK Met. We're back to 1659, so of course this is the longest temperature record anywhere on Earth, but the further back you go, the more unreliable the index becomes. But it is a bit of a snapshot, you know, of what conditions were like back in the 1800s and the 1700s, even into the 1600s. Right, coming down to the current year, so 2021 is just there. We can see that it's been a very strange year. So we have January coming out cold, we have February and March mild, we have our coldest April since 1986, followed by our coldest May since 1996, and then a warm summer, especially so in June and July. August is about average, a little bit cooler, and then September, October, very mild, warm. And, you know, this is where November is going to be placed just here. It will be above average, but it's going to be, by the look of it, somewhere in the mid-7s. That's actually quite a long time ago since we had a November CET in the 7s. We have to go way back to 2008. The last time it was in the 7s, that came out at 7.0. And then 2007 came out at 7.3. We also have 2004 at 7.7. So we had a decade, you know, over a decade without getting a CT in the 7s. We did get a couple of years below that. We had 2010, for example, at 5.2, and some years in the 6s. Well, of course, we have some very mild Novembers as well. For example, 2014 at 8.6 and 2018 at 8.3. So been very variable with the temperature in November over the past few years, but you know, you have to go back to 2008 for the last time we was in the 7s. We covered this a couple of weeks ago, but the warmest warmest November on record is in 1994, just there at 10.1. That's a phenomenally warm November back then. That's kind of, you know, smashes the previous record, but we've seen jointly, I think, in I can't remember the years, but you know, it did smash a record at 9.1. I think the previous record was in 1939 or 1938 in the 9s or something. But we'd never been in the 10s before, so that was a remarkable warm November in 1994. The coldest November on record was a very long time ago, back into the 1700s, and I bet I can't find it now, but it was down into the 2s at some point through the 1700s. I really should have got this prepared, really, shouldn't I, before I started the video. It's there somewhere within the midst of time. There it is, I think. 2.3 back in 1782. That is the coldest November on record. But 1915 comes very close to that. So like the modern, well, not really modern because it's even over a century ago, but like the more recent coldest November on record is 1915 at 2.8. But yeah, that one in the 1700s is actually the all-time record within the central England temperature. So yeah, you know, it's going to be in the sevens. It's not going to be especially mild. It's going to be a bit above average, but not excessively so. However, it will round off what has been a very, very warm autumn, of course, this autumn. So we had a cold spring, but it was followed by a warm autumn. We wait to see where December comes out just there, then the overall CT number for the year will be placed just there, of course. Right, so these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, we're at Barnstable today. Suggested location of this part of the video. If you'd like to have your local town or city featured within this part of the video, then please let us know. And we are always happy to do so. So red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Barnstable. We're still clinging on to the warm air today, but it's on its way out. By tomorrow, we're going to be below average, and then really pretty much the rest of November, dates on the bottom of the chart, we're going to be below average at times, popping up closer to normal. But really, it's cool, it's quite cold. Final 10 days of November coming up. Into the beginning of December, it looks like we have got a warm-up taking place. So it looks like it's only going to be quite a brief colder interlude, and then into December, it looks like we get back to something rather milder, at least for the start of the month anyway. Precipitation-wise, going to be loads of dry weather over the next few days as well. So this very dry November goes on. It could well be one of the driest Novembers on record, starting to turn more unsettled though as we come towards month's end and into the beginning of December. Of course, as it's turning unsettled late in the month, with it being quite cold, there might be the risk of some wintry weather, and that would be particularly so for more northern areas. Temperature anomalies from the 20th to 28th of November are doing something that we have not seen for a very long time. They're coming out colder than average. Look at that, below average temperatures for the UK and for Ireland in the week ahead. Most parts of Western Europe joining in with that as well. Precipitation anomalies remain dry. This is the 20th, 28th of November for the precipitation anomaly, and that is drier than average as well. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that we are beginning to change the wind direction, and that's the reason temperatures are dropping. So you'll notice that we have got the wind turning into the northwest and even into the north across the northern half of the country. Cold front is pushing southwards, introducing that cooler to colder air from the north. Right, let's start going through some chart data then. We'll begin with the UK Met Euro. So UK Met Euro is looking midnight on Tuesday under an area of high pressure, mainly dry, but probably quite frosty on Monday night into Tuesday. Wednesday takes that high pressure out into the Atlantic, brings an area of low pressure into the northwest. That'll take cloud and rain into the northwest, and then as that pushes through on Thursday, we might pull in some colder air from the north again. Friday into Saturday, we get this area of low pressure north of Scotland dropping southwards along the jet stream, and that could start to pull in some even colder air from the north. You follow the ice bars back, the air is originating from a long way north from the Arctic Circle and moving down the western side of Europe. So looks like the outlook into next weekend is increasingly cold and maybe rather wintry, especially so for more northern areas with those northerly and northeasterly winds. Let's have a GFS midnight run is looking. Again, high pressure is over until western country at midnight on Tuesday. Mainly dry, it can be quite frosty. High pressure pulls out into the Atlantic, less of a northerly as we go through into Thursday and Friday. It's passing more to our northwest and then sort of backs into kind of like a westerly type thing midnight on Friday. So the GFS remains a little bit of odds with some of the other output in terms of what's going to happen in the second half of the week. But the upshot is we do by next weekend anyway, 27th, 28th of November, a different route to get there, but we do eventually finish up pulling in this cold northwesterly to northerly wind, and then we have this little area of low pressures feature here developing along the jet stream that pushes southeastwards as we go through Monday 29th of November. And that potentially, as it's running into cold air, brings risk of some significant snow for northern and perhaps eastern parts of the country. And that low gets out of the way by Tuesday the 30th of November. We're back into those cold northerly winds. That's day 10, of course. After that, we start to introduce much milder air from the Atlantic into the first week of December. It all starts going back to the pattern that we've had so often through this autumn. So it goes a lot milder, mainly dry, again, particularly so more southern, southeastern areas, but some outbreaks of rain perhaps in the north and west. But the main thing is a real boost in the temperature there with those long fetch southwesterlies finishing up looking like that on the 6th of December, I should say. Very, very mild with those long fetch southwesterly winds. This would be precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run from the Weather Outlook. So this is how it looks there. Not much going on over the next few days, but as we get towards the end of the week, then it starts getting a little bit colder, especially for more northern and east areas. But it's really into the weekend behind this cold front that the properly cold Arctic air begins to dig in, and that sees showers turning increasingly wintry in northern areas as we go into the next weekend. And then in comes that low, that secondary feature on the jet stream on Monday the 29th of November. That brings very wet weather into west, but the risk of heavy snow through some parts of the country, and this in particular more northern and eastern areas with that particular snow event. So that needs a watch, that needs to be kept a really close eye on, of course. It's a long way out, so it probably won't verify. This is how the 6Z is looking. Again, high pressure dominates over country on Tuesday, mainly dry, quite frosty into Wednesday and Thursday. We try and push in a northerly wind, but it's not a long fetch northerly. It's not a true Arctic northerly, but it will be quite cold at the end of the week. The coldest weather, though, comes next weekend. Again, with this northwesterly to northerly wind setting in over the weekend, and this is the true sort of Arctic northerly with the winds going all the way back up to the North Pole and plunging down the western side of Europe. So the coldest weather is in the final weekend of November. Then we get this little area of low pressure developing in the south. That might bring some more general sleet and snow sometime around the 29th of November. And this time, the position of that little low should expect at so far away. The position of that low is changing run to run. This time it's more centred to the southeast. So that'll probably bring a greater risk of snow to more southern areas, actually. But main thing is that we're still cold, bringing in those north or northeasterly winds. So a cold end to November is forecast there. Into the beginning of December, still looking pretty chilly actually for the first day of December, but eventually again same idea as the midnight run, we start to go milder through the first week of December with winds going back into the west, so temperatures lifting up through that first week of December. We're back into mainly dry conditions, especially so in the south, but also significantly milder weather too. GM next. If you enjoy the video, please smash your like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment, let us know about this and all of our videos. Should we have a look at the precipitation forecast on the 6th? Why don't we do that as we've got the weather outlook up? So we looked at the midnight run first. Let's have a look at the 6Z for the GFS as well. We can do that too. So here we go again. Going to be lots of dry weather over the next few days, of course. It's really as we get towards the end of the week and into the weekend that things will start to go significantly colder behind quite an active cold front that pushes southwards Friday into Saturday. That brings some pretty wet weather even into the far south by the look of it. And then behind that, then we open the door to those Arctic northerlies, and we see lots of snow showers piling into Scotland, wintry showers around coastal areas as well. Now we get that little area of low pressure developing in the south around Monday 29th of November, and that starts to bring some snow perhaps into more southern areas. It's not a deluge of snow, but it is there in the south inland away from the south coast. You know, there is a suggestion there for like southern England, the Midlands, perhaps South Midlands in particular, of some snow. That's the same area of low pressure that brought the snow event to the north and the northeast and the east on the midnight run. So the position of that low is changing, chopping and changing, run to run, as you'd expect at so far away. But it's a feature that keeps cropping up within the GFS in particular. So it is one to watch. Of course, eventually it gets milder on the 6th edge, so we lose all of the snow as we get to the first week of December, and we're back to rain if there is any precipitation around. Right, so now move on to the GEM. So this is how the GEM is looking. High pressure dominates across the country on Tuesday. Plenty of dry, but quite chilly weathering with that. Then the high pressure pulls out west as we go through from Wednesday to Thursday. Turning wind into the north. A little bit more of a northerly, I think, at the end of the week with the GEM compared to the GFS. And that normally really sets in by the end of the week and into the final weekend of November against a long fetch northerly, bring cold air right way down western side of Europe. We keep it pretty cold really all the way up towards day 10, although by day 10 probably starting to turn a little bit milder in these western and southwest areas, but in the north and the east the temperature is still, or the wind is still in from the north, so the temperature is still likely to be quite cold even then. And I've got the ECM being looking like that. Again, high pressure dominates the weather on Tuesday. There will be frost early and late. High pressure pulls out to the west, but we sort of missed the first, or I suppose it's like the second northerly, on Thursday. That kind of passes away to our north and west, but we get this renewed northerly setting in at the end of the week and into the weekend. So all models are going for like a big northerly next weekend. So the coldest period looks like it is going to be next weekend, the last weekend of November. Looks like it's going to be pretty cold with some really quite sharp overnight frost, and certainly a risk of snow in more northern areas as well. And then this area of low pressure, that comes moving in from the north. That's the same low that the GFS is picking up on. That low just there, moving in from the northwest, going in that sort of direction, and is coming into the cold air, so there might be a little bit of snow mixed in with that. Day 10 still looks pretty cold actually, especially for more northern and eastern areas as well. I suspect by beyond day 10 we would see the wind pulling back round to west, and it would start to become milder again, probably for the first week of December. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run. It's going to be a lot of dry weather over the next few days. It's towards the end of the week, but it starts to get cold enough for some snow. So as we get into next weekend, we're seeing snow showers in northern and western areas in particular. Quite a bit of snow actually in northern areas, and some of that is pushing inland into towards parts of the Midlands, for example, by next weekend. Then back in towards those less cold and milder conditions by day 10, which turns the precipitation back towards rain once again. These are the ups on the table with the ECM ensembles for day 10. Gets us to the 30th of November. 22 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure to our west, low pressure to our east. Winds still quite cold, but perhaps becoming a little bit less cold as winds turn into the northwest. We have 15 with high pressure to the west, low pressure to the east. That's a very similar scenario. It's probably slightly milder still with winds westerly. And then we have 14 that have the mid-Atlantic ridge up towards Greenland, but low pressure over to east country. They're keeping things cold and keeping things in from the north. Keep the wind in from the north. In 2 weeks' time, this is the option that we've got, and it gets us to the 5th of December. And 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles, all of them, have high pressure in the Atlantic, low pressure to our northeast. So we're still almost bringing in a northerly, but we're probably, sort of west-northwesterly with that. So a little bit milder through the first week of December, but certainly not overly so, not excessively so, because the Atlantic is blocked off there, and so there would be some sort of a northerly influence to that sort of westerly type wind. 732 finally, then we're done. These are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 20th to 26th of November. The coming week will have high pressure away to our northwest. We will be bringing in colder air from the north in the week ahead. Week 2 looks quite wintry. This is the 27th of November to the 3rd of December. High pressure away to the northwest, low pressure across northern, central and western Europe. Jet stream doing something like that, and we're pulling in cold air from the north and from the northeast there. Week 3 sees a change. This is before to the 10th of December. High pressure builds back to our west-southwest. That turns wind back into the west. So still reasonably dry, or becoming reasonably dry, but milder. And then week 4 will be the 11th to the 17th of December. And we get very close to a Scandinavian high there. The high is too far south to be classed as a Scandinavian high. It's kind of centred over the southern Baltic Sea and Denmark. But nevertheless, it's not all that far away from a Scandi. We'll probably be bringing in quite chilly air at the very least from off the continent. And should that high pressure inch its way a couple of 100 miles further north and be centred there rather than there, then we would really start to open the door to proper easterly or northeasterly winds. So that's quite interesting where that's going. But of course it is 4 weeks away. It's a very long way out and probably won't verify. I think the beginning of December will see milder weather, but, you know, how long that lasts remains to be seen. Right, okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, make sure to sub to the channel, make sure to doing that, tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. Don't forget to drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. It's amazing and it's incredible. Thank you for doing that. We only need to put on 10 subscribers, around 10 subscribers now to get to 12.6k. So we are very, very close now to getting to 12,600 subscribers. Please give us a sub. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Right, I'm just going to tell you what's coming up tomorrow. So we're going to start off with 7 AM upload. 10 AM we will release part 2 of the 12th and penultimate Winter 2021-2022 update. We've got a live stream coming up at 6 o'clock. It's a sunny live stream, so as well as showing you 10 to 14 dayer, featuring most things that just showed you a moment ago. We will also do some long range as well, as it's sunny live stream. I think we'll show you CFS and Beijing Climate Centre data for winter 2021-2022 in that live stream, so that's going to be great. And at some point tomorrow as well, there will be the 8th Christmas update. I don't know when that'll be released. It might be after the live stream. Actually, that would be fun to release that as soon as I stop the live stream, but I'll see. That'll be coming up at some point tomorrow as well. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.